You know that feeling where you just don't want to do something, where you just want to give up? That feeling where you're absolutely spent and you can't imagine dragging yourself beyond that moment, right? I think to have perseverance is to know exactly how to overcome that feeling every time it hits you. My name is Liz Murray, and I guess most people know about me because of the Lifetime movie that was created about me. I was born in the Bronx, and both of my parents were hippies. They had kind of done the New York City party scene thing, and then by the time the early 80s came around and my older sister Lisa and I were born, their hippie disco dancing thing had become a drug habit. And so Lisa and I grew up in a home where our parents were heavily addicted to drugs. They weren't careful. And my parents were using needles really freely. And my mother informed me one day that she had contracted HIV. The family just fell apart around this. My father lost the apartment that we grew up in. He began living in a homeless shelter. My mother was in the hospital, fading fast. And I took to the streets with a group of kids who were kind of lost, kids without homes. Pretty soon, there was really nowhere to go back to. I didn't even think that much of it the first night that I slept on the subway. I don't think I ever really sat down at some point and said, I'm a homeless person. It's not like I identified with that. I had just turned 16 when my mother passed away. And I don't think that I had a full understanding of what was happening inside of me, but I feel as though it really began that day. And when I say it, I mean some kind of a change. And so when she passed away, I had that touch. I did feel what it's like to see life there one minute and have it completely squashed and gone the next. And I did feel robbed. I realized basically that my time is limited. And I just said, if I keep going like this, I'm gonna end up wasting my life too. I thought, I need to go to school, because I have all this potential inside of me, and how is it ever going to become anything? Since I was going to be 17 by the time I began high school, I just said, so I'll do high school in 2 years. Well, at the end, as I wrapped up and I finished high school and all those applications got dropped in, I found this scholarship from the New York Times. So I applied to that, and all of this kind of happened at the same time. I actually had my interview at the New York Times the same day that I had my interview with Harvard. The next week, I found out that I was awarded the scholarship. Pretty soon after that, I got the letter. and I remember opening it up, and I don't really have words for it. If I could talk to myself back when I had given up, I would say don't look at the people around you who are doing things and think that they are made of something more than you. They learn some stuff and they're putting it to use, and they're probably willing to work really hard for it, but they're not made of anything different than you are. Don't get psyched out. So long as you're willing to work past the point where you feel you have absolutely nothing left inside of you, that's perseverance.